What's now come out is an FBI agent faulted with probably the most significant problems laid out in the Justice Department Inspector General report. Remember, the FBI was being reviewed by Michael Horowitz, the DOJ Inspector General, for FISA abuse, has been identified. The agent is Stephen Samoa. He's a counterintelligence investigator who works out of the New York field office. He was Case Agent 1. The IG was very strong in stating that they mishandled information, refused to turn over documents. In fact, Harry refused to turn over exculpatory documents.
Absolutely. So one of the things to keep in mind is this entire history. So we have Crossfire Hurricane. Then we have spying on the Trump campaign via fraudulently obtained FISA warrants. Then we had the Mueller inquiry. And then we had the impeachment. All of these issues, all of these cases were grounded largely in deceptive and fraudulent statements. There was no basis, in fact, for any of these investigations. And yet we still hear sounds from Adam Schiff and others that they still need to do additional information. But they don't necessarily want an investigation to start with the facts. They want to start with the conclusion.
You know, it's interesting. The IG said that this individual, quote, was primarily responsible for some of the most significant errors and omissions.
You can't overstate the seriousness of this. And there was a lot of murky bleed over, Jay, of responsibilities. The person in charge of verifying FISA applicant information as being accurate should not be also a person submitting information into the FISA warrant application.
They had evidence that was exculpatory. The Inspector General report said that Samoa failed to disclose potentially exculpatory information that Page and Papadopoulos told Harper. So, Harry, I look at this and I say that in and of itself, the fact that they had exculpatory evidence, they didn't bring it to light. This smelled from the very beginning.
A series of 17 errors. These errors are actually repeated throughout these 4 applications. And I think if you do that, what we have is a total of 51 errors with respect to the FISA applications. And so this is fraud based on fraud. And then the question becomes, was there political bias?
You can't overstate how serious this is. This guy was in charge of verifying information for everyone's FISA warrant applications. That's what he did for the FBI. Now he is putting information into it when he's in charge of verifying it. And of course, he really deceived the court. And when his first 2 FISA warrant applications were rejected, what does he do? He changes the evidence in it. He overstates some things, omits other things, simply in order to achieve the end that he is seeking.
Now, the IG claims that he could not adduce proof of political bias, but in my view, there is no other explanation for these errors. A first-month FBI agent, someone who is just starting, should not make these types of errors. An individual who's just graduated from law school should not make these kinds of errors unless what we're talking about is intentionality, we're talking about malice, and we're talking about culpability.
We've been able to point out the irregularities of this, which have showed that this entire thing was a farce from the very, very beginning. That's what this is all about.